Hello, Galaxy. This is your Supreme Leader, Kylo Ren, and you are listening to Girls with Sabers. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you don't, I will show you the dark side.
I think there will always be wars. Star Wars is basically the war, but I think there will always be a war with the shadow and everyone. The
Yes. There will always be a darkness. There will always be that narcissism and ego in everyone, not just Force sensitives. There will be people who will rise up and come about and want to destroy what has been built. Always. That's how Star Wars is just going to continue on. But this Skywalker saga has to be finished. It has to end. This part of this journey is going to end. But then the Solo saga will start. It's why we got a Solo film instead of a Kenobi film. We saw even more how Han Solo wore his heart on his sleeve. It's the mother's blood and the father's heart, born in Ben Solo to save the galaxy. You saw Anakin technically started in the light, but he started with a mother who absolutely loved him and adored him. We see his character begin as a young boy, starting out in the light, go to the Jedi, be the chosen one, come up through the ranks. Yeah, he's got an ego, but he is Anakin Skywalker. Then we saw his fall. With Kylo Ren, he starts out dark. We see that from the very beginning. And now we're seeing that darkness unravel to the point where he could really come back to the light. It's the natural progression of this.
well, it's this whole idea of redemption. That
Yes.
Anakin fell like Adam, but Ben can be born again, like any child of be restored and redeemed. I mean, that's what Easter is. Being born
Right.
again.
We get all this spring symbolism. And why is Easter held in the spring? Because of
Oh my
rebirth.
gosh. Again, he's Anakin reborn. Now that could be reincarnation, or it could just be the fact that he is genetically like Anakin, and the Force decided to do that purposefully. Is like I
Mm-hmm.
I could not completely give Anakin Skywalker what he wanted, what he desired, because Palpatine had a foothold. But because he has the heart of Han Solo, because he is has the blood of a princess plus the heart of a scoundrel, the spirit of a scoundrel, then
Mm-hmm.
he has more of a chance. So I completely believe that the Force orchestrated this child Ben, which whose name means the only son. Benjamin
Yeah.
means the only
Yes.
son to restore this family. I feel like reincarnation is not what's going on. It's a rebirth. It's a restoration of the sins of the father. So the sins of Anakin will stop, because that will be the resolution for the Skywalker saga, is for the resolution of the Anakin sins and the sins of the father to be atoned for. So what you have to have in that is you have to have representation of that family, which is Ben. He's both a Skywalker and a Solo, and to me, he's not just a reincarnation of Anakin. He's also his father's son and has his father's heart.
I I see the reincarnation and I agree with it up to a point. For me, it can only take you
Yeah.
so far. Now it needs to transcend and it needs to go into the realm of resurrection and sacrifice. You see that with Han. You see that with Leia. You see that with Luke. All of them ready and willing to die for one person. And they would do it again. And they would do it over and over again. All to save them. You don't do that for the villain.
No, you don't.
You do that for the hero. For the protagonist.
And that's a rebirth.
For the man who could be, yes, for the man who is now at rock bottom to come back up because he has nowhere else to go but up.
Yeah.
That is a father's sacrifice. That is a mother's sacrifice. That is unconditional love, parental sacrifice. And I'm talking about Luke too. So that is the Christ metaphor. Yeah. So that is where the reincarnation symbolism ends and the Christian symbolism begins.
But it's also when the resurrection is you are dead, but you come back alive.
Correct. You're human.
Reborn.
You are whole. You are reborn. You are flesh still. You didn't ascend into this otherworldly, unearthly state. You are flesh and blood still.
And that's how you can say that they atoned for the galaxy in some ways. If Luke's sacrifice, Leia's sacrifice, Han's sacrifice, and then we think that Kylo Ren will sacrifice. If you have all those sacrifices, that's an atonement for the rebirth of the galaxy. That's like washing all of that sin, and the sins of the Father also represents the sins that Vader committed will be atoned for. All of that will die with you, and you'll be baptized.
It's also just sorry. It's also just a horrible feeling. And I think about this more often than I don't think about it. It's such a horrible feeling to think about the people who just want Kylo Ren to be dead. Ben Solo as well. Well, he deserves to die. Well, everything he's done during wartime. That's been said for ever since The Last Jedi came out. Ever since The Force Awakens has come out. And, the Reylos on their little dinghies have gone, redemption. You can't help but get emotional to think about the people who are just like, he deserves to die. He killed so many people. He deserves to die. Well, I'm going to go Gandalf on here and go, who are you to deal out death and judgment? And why would you want someone to not be redeemed? Why would you want someone who is one half of the whole protagonist here to just bite it? To get his comeuppance, to get what's coming to him, when his father and his uncle and his mother have just sacrificed themselves to bring him back. That makes me question what type of person would want that. And I get it's a fictional story and anyone is entitled to their own opinion about it, and that's fine. But what kind of human being are you to just want death for a character that has been so abused, but whose family, literally everyone in his family, is willing to die to save him? It makes me so sad. Cannot understand where that comes from. Not my sadness, but their feelings and thoughts on the character of Kylo Ren / Ben Solo and wanting him to die at the end.
I think some of it is they hate him. There's still talk of how they hope Luke will come and just beat the crap out of Ben in The Rise of Skywalker. They're still wanting that. So it's like they hate him, and we talked about that. It's almost like they hate their own vulnerability as a person. But secondly, it's this horrible idea that in order for something to be resolved, that person has to die, or there's a romanticism of or death.
Right.
And I'm not trying to say this to lessen the sacrifice. I do sometimes, that is a beautiful thing, to lay down your life for another person, and that should never be less significant. But that's not the only
Right.
way. Sometimes
Right.
the
Exactly.
atonement is for life to happen and for that person to get another start. And that is something just as powerful. That's something that we all want in our lives, is to get a second chance, for the slate to be wiped clean, and for us to restart our lives. And it doesn't matter what the mistake is. And that, again, it's the monomyth. It's this understanding that we go through cycles in our life. And isn't the monomyth being able to restart something again, and this time getting it right? So it's not just that the monomyth is starts and ends with every story. There are circles within circles and within circles of the monomyth. So, like, just the A New Hope is a monomyth of Luke, and then it ends when A New Hope ends. But then you have the whole trilogy of the original trilogy. Well, that is a whole circle. Then you have the prequels, and each movie is a monomyth, and those 3 movies make a whole circle themselves. Then you add the sequel trilogy. Well, this is the prequel, the beginning of Phantom Menace, with the end of the Rise of Skywalker. That is a full circle in itself. And it's the whole resolution of what happens is when mercy triumphs over justice. Because in order to be a balanced person, a balanced life, that's what, if you actually see the statue of justice, that's what you actually see is a balance. You have a sword in one hand, and then you have a balance. Well, the sword has already been executed. Death has already happened.
Yes.
It's now time for justice to turn her head and for mercy to reign. Because this kid, Ben Solo, was never given any sort of mercy. And this is how Star Wars is. Star Wars is not about death and destruction and the wanting of blood. If you are such a Jedi fan, and you are such a fan of Luke Skywalker and what he did, he delayed his hand and refused to take the life of a man who slaughtered thousands, much more than how many Ben has taken. And I'm not saying that those lives are insignificant. They're not. But that's this whole idea. The Jedi way is that you don't repay evil for evil. You repay evil with good. You give that person a second chance. And that is the code of a Jedi. Like, it's essential to being a Jedi that no one is fully gone. That no one is not just Han Solo.
Yes.
That no one is the pronoun antecedent for Ben. He's gone, is what Leia says. My son is gone. No one is gone. That one, it does not just refer to Han. It refers to her son. Jenny Nicholson, my girl, I love her. She did a whole video about the redemption of Ben Solo, and she talked about the mask. And she's like, in the Star Wars universe, the people who wear a mask are never the bad people. Wearing a mask and actually revealing that you have a beautiful face behind a mask is also an indication that you're not the source of evil. Like Vader, Leia, I can't think of the girl in the Solo movie when she takes her mask off and she's like this child soldier. But it's just
Enfys Nest.
It's just there's all of this symbolism. Look at the universe in large and ask yourself, how did Luke bring balance? Did he duel Vader? Yes, but how he brought balance is he had compassion upon him. It just, oh my gosh, it drives me crazy that these people think that the only way it will be satisfied is for death to happen. And what kind of uncle would rise up and after his death being one in the Force want to beat up on his nephew?
We had death. We had death as our answer in Return of the Jedi with Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker with the death. We had death as the answer in the prequels as an Anakin Skywalker falling and becoming Darth Vader, which was like a death. It was the death of Anakin Skywalker. We also had the death of his wife, Padme. So all of these films have ended in death. Why would we want this one, The Rise of Skywalker, which literally has the word rise, not the fall of Skywalker.
We've had that.
The Rise of Skywalker in the name. Why would we want death to be the answer? It doesn't make any sense. I want to see everyone's English grade.
And it has to be Ben. It has to be Ben.
Yep.
Luke is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Rian Johnson said so. Watch the director and the Jedi. Ben is the Skywalker.
Yep.
Raised on a Skywalker. Ben is the Skywalker. In order for the sins of the father, in order for the saga to end, there's got to be full hope at the end. In Return of the Jedi and Revenge of the Sith, it was always hope, half death. Like, the hope was Leia and Luke being born. That was your hope. But Padme and Anakin died. And then Return of the Jedi, Vader died, but the children lived. I mean, both parents have already died. In Rise of Skywalker, we'll see the Skywalker actually live and rise up to be the father of generations. I think that's what is going to happen. Where Luke will be like, this is your time now to have a family. 1,000 generations live in you now. Kind of like the Abraham of the story. You know, Abraham said, you know, you are the seed of all of these generations and all of these cultures. And your children will be as numerous as the stars and as the sand and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, well, my God,
it's called the seed of Abraham. Well, Ben Solo.
This is the seed of Skywalker.
Hello, this is Emrys, and with Luthien, thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and click on that little bell icon that will give you notifications every time we post a new one. And of course, like, comment, and do all those things. Peace, love, and Raylo, guys.
All magic comes with a price.
I would like to marry her under a bright sun on the planet of Naboo. I think it would be quite fitting, given my lineage.